Hey Simmers, welcome back to Cristina.zipsims. Today we're off with another speed build. In this case it's gonna be for a small home in the modern style. Last time we did actually kind of like a challenge with a micro home, just using the base game and the tiny living pack. In this case, if you're still after numbers, we are gonna create a small home which is still considered a tiny home up to 100 tiles, and in this case we used 82 tiles. I decided to go with kind of like a different idea this time. Instead of going for like just one pack and the base game, to actually use custom content, because I think that there's so many creators out there that do such an amazing job and so many like modern things that I thought would be perfect for the small home. So I actually created a 2 stories in this case. So we are gonna have a small patio downstairs and then like a big living area, so with a huge kitchen, because you know, if you know, you know, I'm a huge fan of like big kitchens because I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So I'm always like, everyone is gonna love them. Maybe I really have to rethink that, but it's fine. And then upstairs, just going up with a big ladder, we are gonna have kind of like a night area. We're gonna have a toilet, a bedroom, and kind of like a tiny studio, plus another tiny terrace to just enjoy the outside even more. This would be perfect for anyone that like loves to like host, like, okay, small gatherings. Is still a small home, nothing too big. But you know, people that love to maybe like have like small parties with their friends and love to host, so it's good. Like the kitchen is perfect for that. And being like in a very modern house, you don't really feel like it's a kitchen that you're like, you know, I should just hide it away. Absolutely not. That's not what we do. So we started off with building the outside and windows. In this case, differently from last time when I decided to put windows just at the end. That was not a great idea, but it served its purpose because we didn't have clear ideas. But this time we did. Actually started off with windows. I think in the end it came out very nice. I really love it. I would absolutely see myself living in here. But in any case, it's perfect for any like young couple or maybe like a small family just starting up. There's not much space that you would think, but I guess that like if you do have kids, maybe you can get a small bedroom from downstairs or like reseat the spaces. But I thought about this small home for maybe like a young couple or someone like just living in their own, maybe after kids like left the nest. So there's a big kitchen, as we said, because as I said, I love to have like huge ones. Well, I mean, it's not huge as I actually first thought it would be. So there's gonna be like an island, and then we have like kind of like, I don't even know if it's marble, but like kind of like these black countertops, which I don't know, like black to me always screams like a more modern. And then there's gonna be like this combo with like warmer book cabinets, and then we are gonna have more cabinets on top, because space is never enough in a kitchen, absolutely. And then I always say we, I don't know why. And then I picked some, like, you know, a nice kitchen. I wanted to go for like a even more modern stove, but like I had to like go with wherever the space was gonna call. Added some clutter to start off, but as usual, as I've said even the last video, clutter always comes like in different phases for me, simply because I don't have anything that like really like, there's so much custom content that I have because I play on the same account with my sister, and she goes crazy for it. So there's not much, there's not like a way, at least that I found yet, where I can actually find like custom content or like anyway order stuff and furnitures and clutter in a better way on the Sims. So if you do know like a trick, like please leave it below in the comments. So yeah, it's gonna be as always like I always build it like in different time frames. So I added like a fridge, some clutter that we found, and then I found this like kind of like this pantry that I really loved, and like given even more space with like a few drawers. And then I added like, you know, some chopping boards and things like this, some vases, and but then later on I do go back to it and add even like a fruit bowl and stuff that it's like, it makes it feel more like lived in. Like, you know, block of knives. In this case, it was kind of like easier this time to build the kitchen because there's more space, and having like even the like the having the chance to use custom content made it very easy, because there's a lot of like tiny things that I love to use in my builds that are actually custom content, as I said last time. So tiles, we went for Hexa. What a surprise. I'm a huge fan of it. I can't do anything for it. I just find them like they look great in any house, always giving like this modern kind of like polished kind of look. And then I absolutely love these tiles on the walls. I think they are from either Felixange or Alexandre. I just can never remember, but anyway, everything is gonna be linked below, so do not worry. In any case, I thought that like this pop of color always adds something to a kitchen. Then I added a tiny living area. I know I'm very bad at like doing living areas, because I always find like I love to spend more time in my kitchens than in my living area. I'm gonna get better at it. It's gonna take time. So just added a tiny sofa, a TV, and just like a side table, just a kind of like a very small coffee table. I actually think this is like actually a night table. And then added some greenery to start it off, because you always need greenery, always need some plants. And I really love how they add like the kind of thing that it looks more lived in whenever you add some plants and things like these. Tell me that it's not true. I don't know what to say. I think they just add like a very, very nice touch. Anyway, like doing the kitchen was like, I actually thought I had so much space that it was gonna be like so good. And then, like at the end of the day, when you look at it and you're like, oh, I have to put this and that and blah blah blah. But I think it came out pretty nice. I would actually use this. Absolutely. And then I actually used a rug to just close off kind of like the living area, but I was very undecided on what to use, but then I kind of settled for one. And like there's a lot of decor coming up, simply because I was like, you know what, these absolutely need some decor. There's like this wall where the ladders are, where the ladder is actually put, that kind of gives up on space and kind of like ruins a bit the space, but in some ways you have to go up. So I had to kind of like work out whatever type of decor could make it better. And then in terms of lights, I really love these lights. They scream modern to me, like these big bulbs. And I think they always like have that touch with the golden that like really works so good in kind of like any house. Now I know that a lot of people are gonna hate that I always put stuff in front of windows. It's not gonna look nice from the outside. I know. I just usually like then move everything else around, simply because I really love like the look of cabinets, but I also love like the look of having like windows than anything else. Like if it's more, it's always better. Then I added the rug, simply because I know it's a kitchen. Rugs must not be like the maybe the best idea, but hey, we are here to build. We are not living in here yet, but I always think like it looks nice anyway. Then I found these very nice bookcases that you can kind of like, they look like a ladder, and I absolutely love them. They even come on a version with lights, and I just love them because they're very simple, very much like industrial. They look nice. Then you can put whatever decor, and boom, like it's already looking like so much more homey. And then I actually added even these big plants that I think it's the designer pack. I can't remember, but like everything is gonna link below. Then I went back to the patio just to finish off the first floor. I think it came out quite nice. It was pretty much very simple, still like very sleek and modern, like a lot of plants. Going up on the second floor, I started off with the toilet, which is my usual. Usually start with toilets. I don't know why. They seems like probably it's like a smaller room there. It's like it should be easier to tackle. It doesn't get easier to tackle in my opinion, but I love toilets because like you can have like very few furnitures and still it can look like so good. So I decided to kind of like take again the same look as the cabinets that we had down in the kitchen to have like continuity, and then I went with like very simple things. I went for a shower. And then my favorite shelves from Tiny Living, I don't know, I absolutely adore these. And then for continuity still, I used the same lights that we had downstairs in the kitchen because I was like, you know what, I like them, why not? We went for very, like, let's say, very outrageous choices, I guess. No, I really love this wallpaper, and the tiles are absolutely so good. So I went for like a big, like maybe more contrast in the toilet and less of a contrast in the bedroom. I went for like white and like kind of like a cream wooden floor, but I also love the detail on the floor because I mean that looks good. And then for bed, I wanted to use that cane bed, but I actually thought that this one looked much better. Changed the color. It already looks kind of like lived in because of the duvet that it's kind of moved. Then I added some accents, plants, a side table. Wardrobes always tend to be like a very difficult, not like a very difficult choice, but I was very undecided because when you do custom content and for the amount that there's around, you're like, oh, I should put everything on there. So I just went for something white, very simple, very sleek, and then added some clutter on top, like this basket, this rattan basket, and then a few plants. I thought about putting a different one, like a kind of like a wooden one with like more kind of like more sleek lines and stuff, but then I actually decided to stick with these. And then from there we actually I keep saying we, I don't know why. I actually decided to go and do a small studio too, but first I did put some more decor, some pillows and things like this, because I think as usual they do add that kind of like lived in space. This studio was kind of put together, not put together, the studio was actually put in a place, but then I thought, you know what, there's this kind of like corner beside the bathroom that could make a very tiny studio near the, it's near the ladder, so it might be, you might think, oh my god, something is gonna fall off, but I actually like it. It's very sleek, very simple, but like it's what you actually need. Like we were not gonna have like a huge space for a studio in any case without blocking off much of the space and the ladder itself, so I think it came out pretty nice. And as usual, what does not put together a room as much as a rug? As usual, there's a big indecision when choosing rugs, but I also went for this one. It looks great. I use it very often in my builds when I use custom content. I think it looks very modern. There's very different like swatches with colors, and I absolutely love it. And then again, I added some stuff on the walls, simply because I thought, you know what, I actually did this very much at the end, because I forgot to actually take like pictures at the end, and I was like, you know what, these walls like look like I completely forgot to decorate them. So I was like, okay, let me go in again, never to do some things like these, and then I ended up getting very distracted by the decor as usual, but it's all good. We love clutter. And then I actually went for plants instead of like adding different clutter, simply because I thought, you know what, I think some plants could actually give a bit of a vibe in here. And I actually changed even the, I think they're pampas or something like this. I'm not really I'm not good at like plant names. So yeah, a few plants which added a bit of movement, I think. And then I added something that like a bag like from there on the floor, simply because I was like, you know what, this looks like far too pristine, and I was like, this is not gonna look very much lived in. I think it still missed like a few things that would have made it look more lived in, but I decided to just go for like a few things without having more stuff on the floor. Then we went on for the little terrace. It was gonna be a very simple thing from the start, just a chaise longue and a few plants. And then for a bit of landscaping, as I said before, we were not gonna have time to do a proper landscaping, so in these builds I'm just usually like going for very simple stuff, like a few bushes on front just to make it look more put together when you do pictures. But I'm actually not doing much landscaping right now, and maybe we can do it in a different video, but I was like, it's gonna be like far too long and people could get bored. So I ended up like redoing a bit, not the patio itself, but just redoing a bit of things, because I was like, you know what, it does not add much. Having like those tiny mirrors didn't add anything. So I decided to go for another window. I know it's in front of the TV. I absolutely not, as much as with the cabinets. I just loved how it was placed. I think it looked good when the actual things were not up, when the walls were not up, it's not gonna be really considered. Anyway, these are a few screenshots of the final build, and I really hope you enjoyed, because I've really had so much fun creating this modern house. And yeah, a few things from the inside, a few looks. Thank you so much again for following me on this new video, and I hope you really enjoyed this. And if not, if there's anything you would have changed or done differently, just let me know down in the comments. I'm always up for a chat, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much again. If you watched it to the end of this, I really appreciate your time and support. Thank you, and see you in the next video.